Well, we have a viewer question that asks if both partners were 50% guilty for the breakup, should men always keep no contact and wait for her to come back? Dominic.
Why'd you break up with her? I mean, if she wasn't into it, you're into it, then move on. If something has happened over the span of time that they've been apart, where the man realizes, hey, I care about her more than I thought. I want her in my life. I want her
Rejection
back.
breeds obsession.
Then
He didn't find anybody else better.
maybe
He gets
that's the case.
impatient.
Maybe he thought he had a lot of options, and he realizes, hey, maybe that was my best option, and I just effed up.
Yeah, people get impatient because my experience, you get maybe 1 to 3 girls a decade. You might get one in the beginning, you may date her for a few years, you might get one somewhere in the middle, and then maybe towards you date her for a few years, and then year or two or three or whatever single, and then you meet another one, or you might get one or two. So people that you really click with, you feel like you've kind of known each other, and it's easy and it's effortless from the moment you meet. It's just like how often do you meet a new best friend or somebody you just really jive with, and they're always in your life. It's a rare occurrence, and that's why we appreciate those kinds of relationships and people when they come along. So I'm assuming that this particular person is wanting to say they were 50% guilty, because most of the time, I think it's like 75% of the time, women file for divorce, women do the breakup, or they try to make the guy so miserable that he dumps her. And so it depends. It's like if you did things, like if you read 3% Man and realized, wow, I did a lot of things that turned her off, and no wonder she tried to friend zone me, or says there's no chemistry, or there's no spark, or there's something missing, then what they have to start doing is not focus on changing for her, but it's demonstrating the behavior that's aligned within the book, because then you become your most attractive masculine self. And so not only does it potentially reattract the ex, but it creates opportunities where other women become more attracted to you because you're displaying more of those masculine strength characteristics. And then if the ex comes back, then you give her another chance, because typically you're doing no contact when you want to stay together and she doesn't. And then the guy keeps pursuing, or he gets friend zoned, or she says, it's something missing. You're a great guy, but I just want to be friends. You don't stick around and keep trying to date a girl that stuck you in friend zone. You dip on out and say, hey, if you ever change your mind, get in touch. So in that case, if you want romance and she's saying, I got friendship and blue balls, then you say, no, thank you. Call me if you change your mind. And then you go into no contact, because then you've left the negotiating table. And the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and meet it. A man who values and loves himself is not going to sit around and try to change a girl's mind who's stuck him in friend zone or doesn't want to date him or sleep with him. He's going to go on to the next bus stop, see if there's a cute fair maiden there.
Yeah, and without knowing the context, right, there's a clear distinction between, hey, there's something you want, you're going for it, and then you start feeling diminished because you're chasing or begging, right? And the first one, obviously,
Yeah, you don't try to
just
keep
follow
somebody...
don't just follow some rule. I'm like, I'm not going to text her, even though, there's something that happened. I should reach out, and then
Well, if he fucked up
Yeah.
and she dumped him because maybe he lied to her or something happened, then he should apologize and try to work things out. But if she's of the mind that, no, my decision's final, I just want to be friends, or I don't want to date you anymore, then then you have to walk away.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you're not going to try to force yourself into her life. She's got to say yes as well. And if she doesn't, I'm out.
yeah,
I would say never chase after her, but claim her. If that's what you want, go after it. And I would say never apologize, but instead take responsibility, because an apology is sometimes dismissive, but taking responsibility is much more acknowledging and stepping up. If you have feelings for her, I would approach her and share that. Hey, this is what I want to take responsibility for. Clean the slate, and then see how she responds to that. But definitely don't chase her. But you could always take responsibility, claim her, and see how she shows
Because
up.
when you and Ashley split up, you claimed or you told her what you wanted, and she wasn't, yes, let's go for it. She was like, she was a little indifferent. And then so you gave her space and her freedom to come or to go. You
She was
dared her, in
saying
essence, to find somebody
she was
better.
saying that she didn't want to get back together, but her body language was other. So she would come over for lunch at I mean, during a lunch break, obviously, and then she would lay on top of me, and her face was like this far, her lips were this far from mine, and I'm looking at her, and I would lean forward to kiss her. She's like, "No, we don't have that kind of relationship." I'm like, "You're laying on top of me, and your boobs are right here, and I could feel you're like you're." So she was saying no because it was a big part of her that was still hurting, right?
Yeah.
But her body language was saying, "There's
Women
a
vote with
spark
their
there."
feet. If they're with you, they voted for you.
Yeah, man. So I just claimed
I don't want a
her.
relationship with you, but yet I'm laying on top of you and
Yeah.
rubbing your dick and you're getting a little
So
stiff.
it's not so black and white. But if you feel that there's chemistry there, you connect to her, you want her, then claim her and say, "You're my woman. I'm your man. We're gonna make this work." And I take responsibility and list what you take responsibility for. I take responsibility for getting triggered. I take responsibility for being condescending and being like take responsibility for all that shit. Because even though it's a month later, 6 months later, emotions don't have a reference for time. So that works in your favor by taking responsibility for what you did. It dissipates the energy of it so that she's showing up with an opportunity to handle it better and view you in a different light because you move the energy of the trauma that she still might be hanging on to.
But understand that even though you claim her and you tell her these things, she may still get up off you and not kiss you and leave, but she'll be back.
Give her some time. Yeah, at that point, you need to give her time. Don't chase her. Make it clear to her what your intentions are. Take responsibility for it and claim her, and then give her time. And if she's acting in ways that are letting you know that there's some interest there, let it brew. Let it brew. Let it brew. Let it develop.
Yeah, and then
But you
just,
got to let her come and go.
just to add to that, in college, so I had a girl. We're good friends and we're hooking up, right? And
Friends with benefits.
yeah, and I didn't know
Fuck
any
buddies.
better, and I was attached to a label, right? So it's a different circumstance, but let's just say she'll come over and do the same thing, and then when she says no, right? Instead of just appreciating it for what it is and just enjoying the moment, I get attached to the labels and like why is it, and it was a complete lack of understanding. I fucked it up, and it was a painful lesson. I've learned the hard ways, right? And it just realized like wow, like this was actually it was.
So
There's
she's
so many
like, don't
great things.
complicate things. Let's
Yeah, it's
just
like
have fun. Let's
it's like
no
I
labels.
don't want label. I just want to just hang out and just enjoy. I was like, what the? How did I not see how great it was? Instead, I was focusing on all the negatives, and I actually
Why buy the cow when
drove
you
her
get the
away.
milk for free?
Yeah. So
Never take
She's
a
trying to give you
woman's-
the milk for free, and you're like, no, you got to be my cow.
yeah.
Never
So
take a woman literally.
yeah, it's like you claim her and you give her space, but it's not even really like what you're doing, right? It's like oh let me give her like you could. It's a way you're being, right? Where like she really does have the freedom to choose and just you're just going along and you're just enjoying it. And then whenever she's ready, and like just looking back now, that girl would have been ready in like 2 months or less. Right? Like no doubt.
She'd have been trying to lock you down in 2 months.
But I was impatient and I'm
You wanted to lock her down.
getting butthurt and like it's bad. It was bad.
That's a huge.
Butthurt is bad. Men being
was bad.
butthurt when a girl doesn't do what you want.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
It was Rumi said, "Sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment." And so,
Yeah.
be bewildered and amazed at whatever the response is.
Yeah, and
Be
then
accepting of it and excited and amused.
yeah, then I would blame her for being wishy-washy, right? Not even understanding the female nature and all that stuff. And it just
So she was in her feminine,
You got caught up in her emotions.
and you were taking her
was-
literally.
yeah, it was yes.
It was
luck
like
with
the
that.
video that we did with Caroline, where she
Yeah.
says, "Never believe anything girls say."
No.
Yeah, and then
That video does real well, by the way.
and then from
Pisses
there
a lot of people off.
from there, right? Then I would be like, okay, I messed up this way. I'm gonna just do the opposite of what I did. Which, if you're basing your actions and how you go about things off of not doing something, it's still not gonna work, right? But like you still have to go. I still had to go through that experience. Okay, I'm gonna be not needy at all. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna follow these rules, and that obviously didn't work too well either. But that's also a contrast or a learning experience, right? Because a lot of the stuff, it's it's not even whether do you follow a hard no contact, just don't contact. No, it's nuance, right? It's like even Corey said, like we don't know the context, right? But you do put yourself out there, and then you give her space, and you don't need it. And but you're embodying and being that. And if you're just trying to follow some kind of rule or playbook, like you think like Caroline can't sniff that thing out? She'll know, right? She still won't go for it. It's like I did everything I was supposed to. Yeah, but you weren't being it. You just try to play a game on me. They could tell. A lot of them could tell, at least.
Cool.
I've been giving her a few extra tips. Explain a few things.
You guys want to do 28 now?
Yes, let's do that.
Hang on with 27. One last word for that individual. Life's not about finding the right one; it's about becoming the right one. So continue to do your work on yourself.
Become what you want to attract.
Do the consciousness exercises. Read the books. Go through Corey's book a few more times, and just really own that stuff and integrate it more and more. And the clearer you become, the more the problems seem to fall away.